it is painful for me to realize that youngsters growing up in the same places in Harlem where I grew up more than 60 years ago have far less chance of rising economically, educationally, or otherwise. Yes. Close quote.
Yes.
Why do they have far less chance? They dress in better clothes. They have colored televisions they're watching now.
And if that was what makes for success, we'd be in good shape. They don't get a decent education. I mean, I had to pay a lot of money for my daughter to go to a private school to get an education almost as good as I got from a public school when I was growing up in Harlem. You know.
All right. So public education has declined. Illegitimacy. Percentage of children born out of wedlock in 2009 among African Americans, 72%, Hispanics, over half, among whites, more than a third. And of course, all of this has been rising,
yes.
rising remarkably steadily. The line just continues. The effects of illegitimacy on American life?
There are two things. There's the lack of, it's the one-parent family.
Right.
The illegitimacy is the way we can measure it statistically.
Right, right.
But if you had you know, what used to be called common law marriage, in which husbands and wives stayed together for the whole time, there'd be two parents.
Right, so what you were really measuring is one-parent family.
That's right,
okay.
That's right. My gosh, I mean, the crime statistics, almost any statistics you look at, people raised in one-parent families by mothers, the crime rate among them is vastly greater. The poverty rate is vastly greater. If you look at black husband-wife families, mm-hmm. their poverty rate has been in single digits every year since 1994.
So it's not race, it's not ethnicity, it's whether you can manage to stay married.
That's right.
All right. Once again, Tom Sowell this past summer, quote, "Harlem was not an idyllic community by any means, but it had values that mattered in our daily lives, and common decency was in fact common." Yeah. The sense that the moral grounding of American life is dissolving.
Absolutely.
Why is this? You know, you read some people who say it's capitalism, it's the free market that tends to dissolve the values that make the capitalism possible in the first place.
It's wonderful how long it took capitalism to have that effect. And it only had that effect after the welfare state came in. And that was true on both sides of the Atlantic. If you read Theodore Dalrymple's stories of the white lower class in Britain, you think he's talking about the worst ghettos in the United States. Mm-hmm. And none of the factors that are supposed to explain what's happening in the ghettos of the United States apply to the white working class in Britain. What the similarity is that in both cases, you had the welfare state intellectuals create an atmosphere that undermined all sense of self-responsibility, which said that all kinds of morality were just a joke. And if people start believing that, then they'll behave in ways that make it impossible to have a decent life. Mm.